Hey y'all, it's your girl Jersey. We're here with the Spotlight Edition. And today we have a special guest. Her name is Laura, and she's with M3, the brand.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Laura. I have M3 Photography and M3 Specialties. So happy to be here today.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So I do want to give you your props. She was a part of Empower Her Hope, and she made this awesome blanket for Afrovibes and for Empower Her Hope. So I just want to give you your flowers now because it looked amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Jersey, you doubted me a little bit there because that Empower Hope logo was everything. The gradients and it was so beautiful. So just doing that to craft a blanket just makes it extra special, especially when someone gives you their logo. You want to bring that same vibrancy to life when you do it on the blanket. So thank you. And I'm glad y'all liked it.
You're welcome. So let's kind of get into it. So what inspired you to start M3, the brand? So I know it's called M3 Specialties, which is the throw rugs,
Right.
and you have M3 Photography. So what kind of started all of it?
Well, it all started when I used to work in corporate America about 10 years ago, and my daughter was the only Black cheerleader. And I'm running to her games, trying to get her back, trying to get pictures of her, and no one was taking pictures of her. So I begged my husband for a camera, to start me off, and I started taking pictures of her. And then when I noticed I was too far away, being in the stands, I went to the district and asked them for a pass so I can be closer to her. So then now I'm on the field taking pictures, and then eventually it led to a contract with the district. The M3 Specialties side started because she won a cheerleading award, an All-American cheer.
Nice.
And again, being the only Black cheerleader, they were a little hesitant. They didn't think she was actually going to make it to the destination, which was London. So, London is a lot of pennies, So,
It's not cheap.
okay, it's not cheap. So I started creating custom blankets and throws and t-shirts and jerseys and jackets to start, just selling it on the side just to get those coins up. So that's how that started.
Okay, so you were trying to basically like raise the funds for your daughter.
Because I had to do it as the kids say, I had to do it as a back door and not let them know that I was the face of it. So I was actually giving it to all of the other teachers of every nationality, and then we were selling it that way.
Oh, wow. Okay. How was the experience when she went to London? Like, did she just go? Were you able to go with her?
Oh, baby. I don't know if you saw Taken. The movie Taken.
Yes.
I have a particular set of skills, but sending her off to London by herself is not one of them.
Okay.
So I went to, of course, and I had my camera, and then I rented a camera additionally because I wanted a long lens because I thought I was going to be in the back because it was a parade. It was the New Year's Day parade back in 2017, but that camera gave me a lot of little perks because I had no press pass, nothing. And I just walked it to the gate real quick. And then the guard opened the gate for me. He was like, "Ma'am, press goes over there." And I said, "Oh, okay." So, being from the East Coast, you just adapt real quick.
Yep, real quick.
And real quick. No questions asked. And I walked the whole parade with her. One camera, video the whole time. Second camera, pictures.
Wow.
And we had everything, like everything. It was great.
So do you think having like access to certain type of cameras gives you kind of like more opportunities? Because having a big lens, like you already look official.
Girl, they was calling me ESPN on the football field, okay? Having that extra lens does separate you from the mom with the camera versus, oh, she's official. It does.
Wow, that's awesome. So you were able to go to London with your daughter. She had an amazing, so it was a competition or just a parade?
The competition was for her to get the award, the All-American, and then the parade was one of the perks of winning.
Okay. So after that kind of experience, what led you to want to take photography and M3 Specialties like more seriously?
Well, COVID happened. The world shut down, and we were doing Bad time, right?
But good time.
Good time for me, bad time. I mean, it was a blessing and a curse. So being at home, you had to find out, I think marriages and businesses started and ended during COVID. So you got to really realize what you were good at, what you could do, and to help sustain being at home at the same time because you couldn't go outside. So M3 Specialties really took off more because I was doing blankets for people who were home. And then, that time of the year was the beginning of February, March. So people were home and it was colder, transitioning seasons.
Yeah.
So that helped work out. Now, the photography side, of course, dimmed down a little bit because people couldn't go outside, couldn't socialize. But that's when M3 Specialties, I pushed it out more.
Okay. Okay. So what's the story behind the M3 part?
Well, it started out with McCullough, with my 3 kids, because I have 3 children.
Okay.
So, but then it became into my family, my children, and myself, because I'm always pulling them in to help me do something.
Hey, they gotta work.
You gotta work. And so it all pulled in, everyone helps me do something, either to get me supplies or to get something from my camera. It's all a collaborative effort.
So when you got kids, that means you got your own little employees.
That's right. And I learned once you start a business, you can hire your children. So who knew?
Do they still help you out now?
They do. They still help me out. Now, if I have a trade show, one will man the table, because if I want to go still get some pictures and coverage, they'll be at the table for me.
Okay.
So, it works out, They want me to have they're not kids anymore. They're 18, 22, and 25.
You have a 25-year-old.
Yeah, I know.
You look so...
I look so young. I know. But I actually had her at 26, so I'm older than I look. But yeah, so, everything works out, because I thought once you finish, kids get by 18, you didn't have to worry about them anymore. But
nope.
No, that's not the case. They still come knocking. So yeah, one hand washes the other.
So how is it kind of being like a mom and also trying to be like an entrepreneur and kind of scaling your business? So I'm sure that could be hard. You're trying to take care of the home, you're trying to be a wife, and then you have your business also.
Jerzey, like I don't want to curse, but that sugar honey iced tea is hard. Okay.
Sugar honey iced tea.
Yes, because I'm trying to be respectful, but no one warns you when you want to be an entrepreneur that you're going to be wearing all of these multiple hats. So, 1 minute I'm the mom. I got to still wash clothes. I got to still cook dinner. I still got to do my marital duties to my husband.
Yeah.
So at the same time, still promote myself and try to manage my time to do the work and to be outside doing a photo shoot. So it takes a lot of work balance, but I think the biggest thing that has helped me has been the support of my husband and children.
Nice.
Because, and I also thought M3 was me, myself, and I, but it's not me, myself, and I. Okay. It took all of us. It took the whole McCullough clan to make the effort to push. So they've been very supportive.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely need a strong team support system when it comes to something you're really trying to pursue. Do you still work in the corporate world often?
No. Once COVID happened, I got laid off, like half of America, and I just took my package and dived it into my businesses.
Okay, so now you're just full-blown M3.
Full-blown.
M3 brand. So what kind of experience do you hope to have with your brand kind of like moving forward?
Well, moving forward, I wanted to have like my own, not a selfie studio, but a studio that had different rooms, almost like when you see people get houses and each room is a different subject or a different niche. That's what I want to do, because, being contained into one studio room, stuff gets combusted and, out of the organization, and I'm not really used to that. So I want to have different segments almost like this studio, you know, one room is for this purpose and the
Mm.
other room is for that. That's what my goal is. And then on the front end, I want to be able to showcase the throws and the blankets and the
Yeah.
jackets so you can see the versatility.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Have you ever worked with anyone like big yet, big names, or how has your clientele been since you kind of took it on like full time?
Well, with the M3 specialties on the throw side, I wouldn't say big time, but I've gotten a lot of the Houston celebrities.
Nice.
One of them in particular, she was on this TV show, Family Empire.
Family Empire.
And
Okay.
her
I don't
name,
think I know that one.
oh, it's about a real estate company. They're like the largest black owned real estate
Hmm.
company in Houston. And I don't know if I'm a little nervous. I can't remember Nikki's last name right now. Oh, Handy. Her name is Nicole Handy.
Okay.
And I learned from watching another Houston designer, Isaac Moore. He started doing his marketing with gold boxes.
Gold boxes.
Yes.
Like
So
literal gold boxes?
little, I mean, I couldn't afford the gold boxes he was giving out, but they looked more like acrylic gold.
Okay.
So I went down with just the gold boxes, you know, but his niche when he was first showing what his brand was the gold boxes. So I was like, okay, I could do that more affordable scale.
Yeah.
So I started going around Houston to people who I felt was influential that can help push my brand.
Mhm.
And they got a gold box with the throw inside it. So it was the presentation.
I just was talking to somebody about this the other day about, you can have something that's basic, but the presentation is
Is
what's
everything.
gonna, yeah.
Yeah, that gold box set it up a notch to where my friends started getting mad at me when I would bring their gift in a bag. They was like, so we can't get the gold box too? And I was just like,
They wanted the gold box.
right. I was like, well, that's for clients. They was like, oh, no, chick, you stepped it up with the gold box. Don't be coming here with a bag. So
They should treat us the same.
treat us the same. So then that's when I came up with the idea that the gold box should be the luxury collection because
Okay.
that gave that opulence, right? When you saw the gold box coming. Oh, and don't forget, I put your name on the box so it matches.
Oh,
So just like when I did the Afrovibes blanket on the bag, it had the logo on it.
yeah.
So the visualization, you're like, oh, what's in the bag? What's in the box, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, so I do that. So I do the luxury collection will be like the faux fur,
Mhm.
and then that goes with the gold box.
Nice.
Or you can upgrade to the gold box if you just have.
So she really takes care of her customers, y'all. So I'm gonna need y'all to go and get yourself a little throw rug. So with the photography, what kind of photo shoots do you do?
I do senior portraits, standard portraits, and branding portraits, and then I also do events photography.
What's your favorite right now? Like, if you could pick one, what is your favorite?
My favorite right now is studio portraits because you can control the narrative, you can control the lighting. We're in a controlled environment where I know where everything is. So that is my ultimate favorite. And then anytime I have a shoot, I talk to the client and ask what their expectations are, what would they like to do, and then I come up with another idea as well that segues that gives them that extra M3 experience.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I take photos too, so it's definitely different where you are in that environment where you can control the lighting versus you're outside and now you're trying to catch the sun.
Exactly. Exactly. Or you're at an event, you can't tell somebody do it over again. You know, you got to get it when you get it. If you didn't have your lights up correctly, you've lost.
Especially if you're at weddings. Ooh, it's one hit wonder there.
Who you telling? The wedding I was just at last week, the photographer didn't get the kiss, and he told him to do it again. And I'm sitting because I was like, yes. So I was sitting like, yeah, it's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be the same. So
dang. So you be on it. So she be on it. Details,
I be on it.
Everything.
I'll be on it. I'll be on it. So yeah. So even when, like I said, at the wedding, I brought my camera, but I was a guest, so I was sitting in the back, minding my business. And then the photographer comes over to me. He was like, "So what camera you got?" I said, "Babe, do you? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just a guest, but I want my picture
Yeah.
to look crisp. I can't be pulling out my cell phone and I got a camera."
Right.
So yeah,
That's so funny.
I know, too much.
Well, with that being said, we gotta take a break, y'all, but we'll be right back with the Spotlight series with And welcome back to the Spotlight with your girl Jersey and Laura with M3 the brand. So before the break, we were kind of getting into M3 specialties and M3 photography. So my number one question is, how were you able to kind of scale up your business? Because it really is hard to kind of start a business from scratch. And granted, you kind of started by like using your daughter. How did you kind of keep building on with the support of your husband, your family, to kind of build it into what it is now?
To be quite honest, I just started searching through Instagram and seeing what was happening in Houston at the time. Because, I don't know if you could tell from my accent, I'm not from Houston, I'm from New York. So I had to get out of my corporate shell and start being a little bit more sociable. I know I seem so sociable now, but I wasn't at first.
That is so true because, I'm from Jersey too. So the East Coast is definitely different than the South, where like East Coast, it's like, all right, tunnel vision, tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision.
And out here, it's like, there ain't no tunnel.
Baby, I'll tell anybody, I didn't know I was Black till I moved to Houston. Okay.
What?
Because in New York, it's tunnel vision. If people don't speak to you, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's
okay. Down here, it's like, whoa, like where's the Southern hospitality? Like, okay, let me bring it back down a notch. So even when I went back last week, you have to remember, no matter what part of the world you're in, you have to adapt to where you are, not where you're from. So I had to become a lot more sociable and come out of my shell and start meeting people who I would normally never meet in my regular day to day. And then just start dropping seeds everywhere and being at events. And of course, I did things for free at first in the beginning, just so people can see the authenticity. And then that's where it scaled from there.
Do you think was a smart thing to do, is kind of just do stuff for free to like get the content, or what was it behind doing things for free at first?
Well, along with the content, it also was practicing live. Just like doctors, that's why they call it medical practice. You have to practice your craft. So, if I'm at one event that doesn't have lighting, I have to push myself to figure out, how am I going to get that shot? How am I going to position lights or candlelight? Some churches, you can't even use a flash. So I had to figure out and be uncomfortable and figure it out.
Yeah.
Because, not everybody helps you. And I also had to learn not to take things so personal when I would ask, my friends, can I take your pictures? And then I see them hire a whole photographer. And I'm like, I must not be doing something right. But I had to learn that, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm someone's champagne.
Ooh, I love that. She's somebody's champagne. I really like that. You need to put that on a shirt.
I know, right?
I would definitely buy that blanket. Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. I will note that one. Oh, and to make you laugh, so when we were coming back last Monday, we were on United, and I put the United logo on my blanket. And then like every airline that I've been on, it's on the blankets, because the blanket is my traveler's blanket. So I just positioned it a certain way. And I did a whole story, because everybody keeps asking me every time I go somewhere, is your husband going with you? And I'm like, duh, we go together. Like, hello.
Like, come on.
Okay, so I put that on my story yesterday, and United answered me.
What?
They said it's a team effort. I was like so honored that United Airlines took the time to answer my little story.
Did you answer back?
Of course I did. I was like, here, DM me here. I do throws on the side. I was selling my throws to the stewardesses. Oh yeah, girl. I did that for a reason because it's positioning. And I learned that from being outside, some people help you and some people don't, which is fine. But you get to learn just different genres of what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, like I said, I don't look as old as I am. So, it helps out a little bit.
Definitely.
Mhm.
So you think pretty privilege helps a little bit?
I'm not pretty, so I don't know about that privilege. But I think
You
not
you're gorgeous. Not pretty,
Okay.
y'all. She's
Thank
gorgeous.
I appreciate that. When I think of gorgeous, I think of like Halle Berry. So
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. But I think being a little bit social and having the presentation, I think that coincides and helps me a little bit more as opposed to being not abrupt when I was in New York, but just not being so much standoffish.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm a little direct. It depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
But pretty much the same. Yeah.
Do you think you've been learning more being in Houston versus when you were back home in New York? Or what do you think is the main difference when it comes to kind of learning and kind of navigating like entrepreneurship?
I really think if I would have started my entrepreneurship in New York, it would have been a little bit harder because, it's such a rat race.
Yeah, they
Okay. And no one is taking the time to help you. Okay.
Everything's gatekeep.
Everything is gatekeep. I mean, oh my God. I just heard Jess Hilarious say this the other day when she asked, how'd you do that? Well, I did hard work. No, but how did you do it?
Exactly.
Tell me how you did it. And no, I wouldn't have gotten that. I mean, did I get some of that here? Yeah, I did. But I knew how to ask the question that I needed to get the help. So, I had two mentors when I was doing photography.
Oh, okay.
One was Caucasian and one was Black. And I learned so much from my Caucasian mentor on how to speak to other Caucasians and not sound so New Yorkan to where I was hurting people's feelings when I would talk, because I'd be very direct. And, down south, they don't do that. They're not as harsh.
Yeah.
So I learned that aspect. And then from my Black mentor, I learned all of the technicals that I needed for the photography, what I wasn't going to be told.
Yeah.
And he actually really took a lot of time with me and helped me in the studio side of it.
Okay.
So that I'm forever grateful.
Was it like odd to ask that your Caucasian mentor to kind of ask for pointers on speaking, or how was that kind of interaction?
It was hard, but I kind of like joked with him at first because when he was the photographer for my daughter's team pictures when she was on the cheer squad, and he put her on the end, it was 12 girls, the 12th girl, she's on the end. So I said to him, hey, whenever you have a Black girl, you got to put her in the middle. You can't put her on the end. And he was like, really? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no. I'm just saying, when you have one Black girl, you can't put her on the end like she's the help.
Yeah.
And then that's how we started our friendship. And then whenever he did something, he'd be like, okay, is that right? And I'm like, yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So that's how, and then we ended up playing with to this day, if he has a shoot and he needs a second photographer and vice versa, we work with together now. So it really helped out.
Yeah, some people are scared to ask for help.
I mean, I was scared at first, but my husband always says, Google is your best friend. And sometimes Google can't help you when it's one-to-one. Just like AI, you need that interaction with the person. So yeah, I was scared, but I mean, if I wanted to do it, that's what I had to do.
And it was beneficial to you. So that's good. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we have to kind of tweak how we talk to people, especially depending on the community or the client that we have. Especially if we come from the East Coast and we're trying to work with people out in Texas. It's definitely different.
It is. But I really notice the difference whenever I go back to go visit and I say ma'am or I say oh, can you do this for me, please? People are looking at me like, who are you talking to?
Hmm.
My bad. Let me turn the Southern hospitality off, and let me turn the rudeness back on.
Yes, I definitely went home last year and I caught myself saying ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. And
Mm-hmm.
my one friend was,
It was like,
she
what are
was
you talking
like,
to?
I'm not a ma'am. I'm like, my bad. Jersey turned back on.
I know. When I first got here and someone called me ma'am, I
I
was
was like, I'm
like, who
not.
are you talking to? I was like, I'm not that old. And I think from the East Coast, you associate with ma'am with Medea. You might as well call me grandma or something.
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah.
no, don't ma'am me. And I tell kids all the time, don't ma'am me. They're like, but ma'am, I said, I know you were
Yeah.
taught that. You can call me Miss Laura. Can't call me Laura because you're not my age group.
Hmm.
But when I'm talking to younger kids,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's that Southernness. I mean, what can you do?
That is so funny because the first time a guy called me ma'am, I reacted the same way, like, yo, I'm only this age. What did you call me ma'am for? And then he explained it's just a sign of respect. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right. And I would say I love that for you.
Hmm.
And I'm glad that you were taught that. But please don't call me that. I would
She
always
said, I
say,
understand, but don't call me
yeah,
that.
don't call me that. Mm-mm. And then anytime I would say call, they'd be like, oh, you're not from here. I'm like, nah, I'm not from here.
Hmm.
I don't say I'm gonna call you. Oh no. I'm gonna call you.
Don't call
I'm
you.
gonna call you.
So how long have you been living in Houston now?
Girl, I always associate it with the year. It's been 25 years now.
Oh, so you've been here for
I've
a
been
little
here a
minute.
minute. Yeah, a lot of minute.
Not a little minute, a lot of minute.
Yeah, when my husband and I moved here, like I said, remember I was working in corporate America, so they relocated me here and about
Oh,
40
okay.
other people. And our daughter was 9 months then, and she'll be 26 next week.
Wow.
So yeah.
So so does she have the little East
Of
Coast New York swag?
she does.
Okay.
Of course she does. Now, my two sons, they're born here, but the last one, the 18-year-old, he thinks he's from New York. Okay.
Wow. But Houston.
He's straight up a Texan, but homeboy has even brought it down to streets. If you ask him what part he's from, he'll tell you he's from Laurelton. I'm from 230th and Merrick. And I'm like, how do you know this? And he's a good one. He created a whole video game of New York and
What?
only been there like maybe 5 or 6 times of his life.
Wow, that's
But
crazy.
no, he'll tell anybody. And then he'll tell somebody else, I'm born and raised from New York. And I'm like, no, you're not.
From Houston.
And he's like, Mom, just go with it. Just go with it. And I'm like, all
Aw.
right, all right, babe.
I'm gonna let it slide.
I'll let it slide.
Wow, that's so funny. Do you see yourself and your family moving back to New York at any time, or you're here to stay?
That's a good question because, like I said, we were just in New Jersey last week, and just being there, we've totally adapted to living in Houston.
Mhm.
Like, I can't see us moving back there at all. Like, it's not happening. Only because we've evolved and we've grown. Once you step out, when you grow up there, it's the best sugar honey
Yeah.
iced tea. But when you see the other possibilities that you have, and I saw this on, I think it was Christine's post or someone else's post, New York made me, but Houston pays me.
Mhm.
So, I gotta go
Mhm.
where business
Where
is
the
at,
money's at.
right? So yeah, so for right now, I think we're here to stay.
Okay. Hey, I don't blame you. I don't see myself moving back to Jersey because everything's so slow. Everything is
And it's so expensive now.
Mhm.
Bridges that used to be free growing up, it's so much
Nope.
tolls, it's congestion tolls. You can't even go to the city. You can't even walk across the Brooklyn Bridge anymore.
You can't
No, you get a toll. It's a toll.
to walk.
Yes. Because you're entering.
Wow.
It's an entrance fee now.
Different.
Yeah. I was like,
What?
oh, I can't do this. People was like, are you coming to Queens? No. Like, I'm not paying tolls. No, I'm good. I came to Jersey. I'm leaving out of Jersey. I'm good.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, the first time I drove to New York, I was like, why is there a big fee to go over the bridge? Then you thinking, you come back over the other side. I'm like, I gotta pay?
Right. Like, it's two fees. It's not around. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And New York has 21 bridges. So can you imagine? There was so many bridges growing up you did not have to pay for, and now you got to pay for it. Now I'm good. I'm good.
That's crazy.
Mm-mm.
Have you done any photography shoots in New York?
No, that is something I do want to do. I want to go because, you know, I still have friends and I still have contacts in New York.
Yeah.
That's something I really want to do. I want to go for Fashion Week.
Ooh, okay.
I really want, that's a goal of mine. I really want to do New York Fashion Week.
Okay. So Fashion Week, what else is in store for M3 photography?
Well, potentially having our own studio based either house or 2 levels, and then just going outside of our comfort zone of Houston, actually being international.
Okay. So where can people find you and your brand? Where can people find you and get these nice blankets?
All right, so you can get your blankets on IG and Facebook at M3 Specialties _. You could also send an email to specialtyfavors@gmail.com. So that's how you get your customized throws. And in photography, you got a lot more going on. You can go to my website at www.m3photographyshoot.com. IG and Facebook handles are both at M3 Photography Shoot, or we could just go the old-fashioned way and give a call to 631, 346-631-5100. And then if you're old like me and you remember when phone numbers had letters in it,
Wait, what?
okay, I'm showing my age, people.
Phone numbers had letters in them.
Yeah.
All right, that's a whole nother
So for the old people, 346 is the area code, and then M3 15.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm not that young. I know what you're talking about now. All right, now I know. When you gotta hit the button like
right, when you hit the button,
times
that's
trying to get
right,
all right.
Right. So
Sorry.
so okay, it starts off with 631, but if you put the letter, it's M3.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
15100.
Awesome. So M3 Specialties, get your throw blankets. M3 Photography, get your photo shoots with your girl Laura. And I want to thank you so much for participating in Empower Her Hope, and for coming on today at Afrovibes TV station.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a little bit different, people being on the other side of the camera, but thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
So catch us next time on the Spotlight with your girl Jerzey on Afrovibes TV and movies.